I cannot believe what I just heard. The View sounds like a broken record right now, trying and failing to cover for the string of failures under Gavin Newsom's administration, especially among the wildfires. But I need to show you some of the worst moments from The View acting like Gavin apologist at the worst moment. And as predicted, it starts with Whoopi Goldberg.
Here's how this works. There was a fire catastrophe in California. Had to do with winds. You know how they're always saying, oh, the wind. It actually does. The winds move things and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have if 900,000 buildings go up at the same time. Now, having lived in California, having lost every house save for one that we ever lived in, I take great offense at pointing fingers. You should be pointing fingers about how can we help?
Yeah.
It's too soon to be saying, oh, it's Gavin's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's like us taking seriously that there are, magic lasers in the sky that direct the weather. That doesn't work. It doesn't happen. This is a catastrophe, and this is what's happened. And let's try to figure out how to work towards not having it happen again. But, we don't control Mother Nature. Mother Nature doesn't give a damn what we want. Mother Nature does what she does, and if you're in the way, this is what happens.
These platitudes sound so good, don't they? Except they're a thinly veiled attempt to cover for the lack of preparation that the California State Administration must always have been on their toes for, which is something as common as wildfires in the area. By the way, we only speak the blunt truth here, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to become part of the conversation. And did she say 900,000 buildings are on fire? Did she misspeak, or is that really how disconnected Whoopi Goldberg is from the situation on the ground? Right now, nearly 14,000 structures have been tragically burned to the ground in the fire, and every single person affected wants exactly what Whoopi is trying to dismiss: accountability. What's worse is that even this fundamental demand for accountability is being framed in antagonistic terms, as Sarah Haynes did next.
I think right now, people understandably are looking to place their rage somewhere. So I don't know if it makes people feel better to point their finger, but just like North Carolina after the storm, you don't start recapping a game until the game's over. There are fires ravaging not only the land, but the count of bodies keeps going up and up. They haven't even gone and been able to see how this all started. You can't start right now doing this. Everyone should be saying, how can we help? And they should be flooding over there, whether it's money and GoFundMe accounts, whatever you can do to help. Mm-hmm. But this is not the time to blame it on officials when we are living in a time of a lot of climate change and things that are happening. I just find it a little disturbing that you're going to actually blame a mayor, a governor. If they were standing right in that spot, the fire still would have started.
Oh, so it's climate change, the most convenient scapegoat for the left, as well as the perfect excuse for government overreach. But America is too smart for this now. Take, for example, a single massive failure where the Santa Ynez water reservoir had been empty for nearly a year due to supposed repairs that never happened. It could have hosted a massive 117 million gallons of water readily available to firefighters, so they didn't have to deal with empty fire hydrants or get water from people's swimming pools in a bid to desperately get access to water. And if The View is so adamant at deflecting any criticism toward Gavin Newsom, how do they explain the fact that Gavin himself came out last week admitting that the reservoir was empty and launching an investigation into it? This is a bitter pill that no one on the panel was ready to swallow. But actually, I have to give some props to Alyssa Farah Griffin for willing to be the only one on the panel willing to say something like this.
What I don't like is that there's the jump to go to the politics of it. What does need to happen is at some point the accountability and the after action of what went wrong and what did we not have that we needed to have. I was frustrated, and I would hope he'd come on the show. Gavin Newsom's been a friend of the show. I was frustrated that in two different interviews he pointed to, well, the municipal authorities should have known, the local governments should have. But we live in a country where the buck stops with the leader, the governor, the buck stops with the president. And I think that he needs to have those answers. I get that you don't in real time, but there needs to. We need to know why fire hydrants didn't have water.
Well, it's not that they didn't have water. The fire hydrants had the water, just not enough to put out 9,000 burning buildings at the same time. And here in here in New Jersey, if you... I say this a little bit because I'm trying to make myself giggle. But sometimes, when you turn on the water to wash the dishes and somebody's taking a shower at the same time, and then you're trying to wash the dog outside. There's no water.
Yeah.
That's how you have to think of it. 900,000 things at one time looking at one spigot. That's how you have to look at it.
I don't get it. Why is Whoopi so eager to cover for the governor, especially at a time when even Gavin Newsom, as well as the LAFD chief Kristen Crowley, have stated in no uncertain terms that the city administration has failed the fire department? And that alone should be enough to ask some really tough questions to the governor and the city mayor, because it's not political anymore. So who are people supposed to trust? And more importantly, who are they supposed to demand answers from?
The LA Fire Chief Crowley, who said that they needed more resources and they didn't have them, was kind of contradicted by some folks. But I don't think there's a fire chief in America dealing with this crisis who would say that if it's not true, and that needs to be looked at. If there are not enough resources to fight the fires, then there needs to be more money going toward that.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city? It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
I gotta say it, the history books of the future are writing all of these statements, and it's not gonna make anyone look good that tried to shut down genuine criticism and calls for accountability. By gaslighting Americans over the string of preventable failures on behalf of their elected representatives. Worse yet, it's happening in a state that extracts the highest income tax out of its citizens, and tragedies like this make a lot more people rethink the worth of their social contract to begin with. Now, I thought no one on the panel could make it worse, but I was wrong. I hadn't listened to Sunny Hostin yet, and she surprised me when she managed to wriggle in a racial angle to even a tragedy like this.
You are absolutely right about that. In terms of politicizing this fire, that's what I've been most disgusted by. I was thrilled to learn that Mexico was sending aid, the very people that Donald Trump would like to build the wall against. Well, they must have climbed over the wall because now they're here helping put out these fires. Canada, who he wants apparently to be the 51st state, they are here helping us. So our neighbors have come in and helped us. And that's what should be happening. And I applaud Mexico and Canada for helping.
Wow, every day a new low for The View, but I guess it's something that the people have gotten used to over the last 30 years of the show's existence. Truth is, asking for accountability while helping people on the ground are not mutually exclusive. As much as the people in power might want to give that impression, and as the dust settles under Donald Trump's presidency, we're going to see a lot more uncovered than we currently know about the response to the wildfires.